The market has started to see a turnaround on Veve, so it's going to be important to understand maybe what is the case here, if we've reached the actual bottom, what we should be paying attention to now, and just how we can learn more about markets in general when it comes to this. So let's get started. Welcome everyone, my name is Andy, and I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to come watch this video on the channel. Just before we get going, if you are enjoying the content and you want to support me further, you can join the membership, and if you want to support me further than that, you can just subscribe to the channel. Don't know why I mixed those two up, but yeah, we're going in that way. If you do pay attention to the Veve market at all, or you just have a look at it every day and sort of see what it is, or you're addicted like me and can't stop clicking it every 2 minutes, then you'll know that there's been some sort of shift in the market and things have started to increase in price. Some have gone more drastically than others. And I think this is an important aspect to just talk about and help you understand market cycles further and just maybe understand what's going on right now and how you should react or how you should be reacting. One thing I do want to make clear is that we have no idea where the market will actually go. We don't really have a magic ball. No one is an expert in any field. And no one is really able to guess how markets will actually move. All you can use is historical data to try to sort of advise this is where things have went in the past, this is how you can maybe learn from those things, and you sometimes see patterns that work in those ways. But guessing what the future will hold is just impossible, because we didn't know what was going to happen in Russia the day that it did. We didn't know COVID was going to come around. We didn't know a lot of things were going to be happening. We can't actually guess things that affect or impact the world of cryptocurrency, stocks, real estate, and all that sort of stuff in the outside world. And it's also very hard to guess what is going to exactly happen when it comes to things in the Veve market too. So I want to make sure that when I'm making this video, and when I make any videos regarding market fluctuations and trying to help you understand it, I'm basing it off historical data and patterns, not me knowing this is where it's going to go. So that's just something I wanted to make clear, and also help make you understand further that no other YouTuber can do that either. We obviously got some positive news in the last few days in regards to exchanges. We got on a new exchange, and we've also been told that there's a few others coming by the end of the year. We said in an interview yesterday, we discussed quite a lot of hard-hitting questions when it comes to Veve, talking about the buybacks in regards to the token and just Veve in general, which a lot of people were quite happy with. Of course, there were a few other questions that a lot of people have been seeing, wish they would have answered, but it was still great to see, and I will put that link to the video down below. Akil Patterson does a great job of asking me hard-hitting questions, and I definitely recommend going to check it out and subscribing to the channel. We're also seeing some shifts in the market now happening with the promo codes being added. Now you'll notice that if you go onto the app, you'll see that promo codes are now there. And there's a lot of people speculating this is based potentially on MCP. This is also based on potential utility that could happen in the future. Now, there's a lot of things that you could guess with this. You could do things like referral programs. You could do things like discount codes. I don't actually know how that would work. Maybe on gems, but again, I don't think that would work at all. And then the other thing that a lot of people have been alluding to is more so the basis of, just use the example, if you buy something from McDonald's, you get this code and you can put it into Veve and you get an NFT within Veve. Now, the possibilities are quite endless here. And the fact that this is being added means there's something going to be coming, or something has been tested enough for it now to be put onto the Veve app itself. Now, it could be a few things. Again, we've not actually had any further data from what I've seen that this promo code will actually hold, but it will be interesting to see. So again, that could push a little bit more people forward to actually wanting to get in. Furthermore, there's other MCP developments that we may have saw. If you've been paying attention to the market, you'll know that new market listings are no longer on the marketplace when you're going onto it. And I think this is actually leaving room for the premium market listings regarding MCP itself. This is shown in the article where you can pay MCP points in order to get your listings on the top of the market so that they're seen and visible by everyone. I think this will most likely be the case and be better for those who are selling really low mint stuff, so that people who are looking for low mint stuff can see them. I don't think it will matter that much in regards to some other things, maybe lower mint comics where they're put there because we can't really search for a range of comics yet. I think that may help, but other than that, I don't think they're going to matter too much. But it is interesting to see that things are moving forward and can visibly see that happening. That could be putting more faith back into the company and what they're doing. We're going to have a look at the market then, and we're going to see what we can maybe view right now, what's happening, maybe why it's happening, and try to take some lessons from this and move forward with that information. I know Superstar Money done a video on this the other day talking about the market if we had reached the bottom. So again, that was another great video where they discussed some of the marketplace place, what it was, what it held, and maybe what you should be looking at when it comes to all this. Before we actually get into the market and what we're looking for when it comes to this, what's been happening over the last few weeks is that we've had quite a gradual decline in pricing. So from January, the mid-January area where everything was booming, we sort of reached the height that it could reach at that point, and we started to see a decline, and that meant a decline in price and an increase in supply, and we saw quite sharp spikes and increases in supply. But the really interesting thing now is when we're looking at older collectibles, when we're saying things like Todd McFarlane Batman, or even the likes of Spider-Man, even though that was released in August, the amount of listings that are on the market is nowhere near what they used to be. Therefore, the amount of demand that needs to actually shift those prices doesn't have to be that much anymore. In the past, if you took something like Spider-Man where it had 32,000 editions, it would probably take quite a lot in order for that sale wall to be eaten away and taken down. But now it seems that those floor prices are sort of razor thin in their actual sale walls to bring it up to a significantly higher price, meaning you only need a few people who are wanting to get into this and wanting to buy into it to shift it. So what we're looking for here is we're looking for quite a sharp decrease in listings and a sharp increase in price. Now, sometimes it doesn't have to take a massive increase in price, but just seeing that little sharp spike could turn us on to a higher demand that may be appearing. I'll actually show you here exactly what I mean in regards to the floor prices now. We can see that there's only 138 common Spider-Mans on the market now. And if we click on this, we can see he's sitting at 623.62. That's his floor price. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Spider-Man common was sitting at around 500 gems maybe a couple of days ago, maybe even yesterday if I'm not wrong. But when you have high sale walls, you can scroll down once and it still kind of relatively stays at where it's at. But because Spider-Man has been out for a certain period of time now where it's actually solidified itself as something really, really important, if I do one wee scroll down maybe to the end of the next page, I'm expecting to reach near enough 800 gems. Now, I've not looked at this. This is going to be a complete blind guess, but I'm expecting this floor to be pretty razor thin. And again, it was actually higher than I expected. 874 was the first scroll down that we got to when it came to that. That shows me that we really don't need that much to move this anymore. And I'm guessing it's going to be the same for a few others. Just that quick scroll down and you'll see there's a massive shift in price. Now, I'm saying this is going to be for the things that are more so the ones that I believe will be more popular. Spider-Man, we've got the golden moments as well. Let's take something I've loved for a long time, Elsa. We've got 236 listings here, and we'll actually have a look at them on Ecomi Wiki after this, just to see it further, see if we can establish it further. But if we go into Elsa here, she's sitting at currently 2k. Now, if I scroll down here, her sell wall looks a little bit stronger than Spider-Man's is. Again, it took a month more, if I'm not mistaken, before Disney Golden Moments were actually out. That makes quite a lot of sense. But if I still scroll down once here, I'm saying we reach maybe about 2.8k with her, maybe even a little bit higher. And again, with our first scroll down, we've got 3.2k, so it was a little bit higher than I expected. But what I want this to show here is that you don't actually need that much to move these prices anymore. Yes, there's things that have just come out where we'll need a lot more to move these prices to a significant jump, but now this doesn't actually have to be the case. So let's actually go over to our Ecomi Wiki now and try to back up the points that we're making here. Okay, so we're on Todd. And what we were seeing here, and this is exactly what I was talking about, in mid-January, all right, we're talking mid-January here, this is where it reached its sort of peak that was at, about 13k. We saw the listings take quite a sharp decrease down. Now, 179 to 163 at a 9.2k floor is quite a lot. You know, that is a lot of listings getting dropped off. But as we said, over that length of period of time, over the next month and a half or so, saw listings continue to go up. So we're seeing the listings here going from 179 to 163, reaching near enough its peak. People started to sell off a little bit, and then the big sell wave started to happen. People started to get out. We started to go up to over 200 in listings, price decreasing quite slowly, and again reaching our peak listings at 222, continuously going down with the listings staying above. But this is what we're trying to pay attention to here. This is what we're trying to look at here. Now that that we've talked about this quite a few times. We want to see the supply go lower than demand here. So we want to see the price rising up as the supply goes under it. And that's exactly what we're seeing. With a 222 peak in February, we're now seeing 138 listings of Todd McFarlane Batman, and quite a sharp increase in his price. It seems about 6 o'clock onwards from last night, went from 151 listings to 138. You'll notice if we go back to January in those times, in mid-January when it really reached its peak, went from 179 to 147-ish. So we are sort of seeing those similar jumps in pricing with the decrease in listings from what we've had. Because at the 6,000 just yesterday, there were up to near enough 7,000 today alone, and I'm guessing that won't take that long to reach above 7,000 again. If we go to the common Spider-Man, we should see the exact same thing as we talked about before. We see quite a sharp decrease in listings as it reached its all-time peak of 1425 in mid-January, and then after that the listings gradually went up and continued to go up as price continued to fall. But now again, what we're seeing here is quite a sharp decrease in listings and quite a sharp increase in prices. Now, this is not to say that this is the bottom. I don't want to say this at all, because we've had those sort of false bottoms before, and you get this in markets all the time where people believe you've reached the bottom, it takes quite a sharp spike up and then it goes down again. It goes even further than it did before. So it's not to say that this can't happen, and I wouldn't put all your eggs into the basket that we've reached the complete and total bottom that we've ever reached, because it just might not be the case. I mean, here you're seeing the floor price rise up with the listings actually going down, but the difference is here we're seeing a sharper decrease in floor price. These are quite gradual in the listings and an increase in price. The difference that we've got here is the little bit of the sharp one that takes us down. Now, this isn't to say that it will happen with everything. I think there'll be some things that will take some time, and even if we go into Elsa, maybe we could see a little bit of a difference here, as I don't think she's increased the same way as maybe the others have right now. But again, we're still seeing that quite sharp decrease in listings from 265 to 231. You know, you're going down over 30 listings, and we're seeing a little bit of a sharp increase in price here. Not as sharp as the others, but again, this isn't to say this will be the case, because we have saw quite sharp decreases in listings and not that sharp increases in prices. So there's a lot to learn from here, and there's a lot to take from. Reached some form of bottom over the last couple of weeks, but it is important to take note of that it definitely could go further. It's not to say this is the end and it's all going to go up now and everything's going to reach its highest heights again, but what it is to say is this is what you should be paying attention to. Look at the listings and try to understand them a little bit further. Look at the data and see what the market is showing you. Are we seeing massive decreases in listings and sharp increases in prices? That could be meaning there's a lot more demand for this collectible. Maybe some news has come out. Maybe the whole market is starting to shift. Maybe there's some good news in the outer regions, geopolitical things, even within the stock market or in the NFT market. Some booms has happened. Legislation has come part that's actually in favor of crypto and NFTs. There's so much that can move this market in so many different things. And because Veve is so new and things aren't actually priced the same way as they are on OpenSea, you can eat up a floor with not that much liquidity compared to someone on the Ethereum market where they can have hundreds and hundreds of Ethereum, which is millions of dollars. So they can change the markets like that if they really decide to. Just know that Veve can do that right now, and people can buy massive amounts of the floor price and shift the whole market a couple of days if they choose to do so. So be careful with what you're doing and try to understand the market a little bit further right now. I don't think this is a massive turnaround. I could be completely wrong. I still need to see more data for that to be the case, and we'll have to watch it over the next coming days to see if this run plays even further or if it retracts itself a little bit after taking this little bit of a run up. What's your thoughts on the market right now? Have you been buying over the last dip with the last month and a half? Have you held off on your gems and ready to get into some things? Be sure to let me know down below. I know the video on the screen right now will be something you'll love to watch. Have a fantastic day.